All we need is reparations. With no hesitation, do what you do. All we need is reparations. With no hesitation, do what you do. Reparations. I can't be the only one that thinks like this. I'm sure I'm not the only one that thinks like this. Reparations.
You are now listening to The Catalyst with Bianca Lewis, exclusively on Red Pill Radio.
Reparations. I'm sure I'm not the only one that thinks like this. I can't be the only one that thinks like this.
Hey, what's up, what's up? One time for the one time, it's your girl, Miss B, and you already know. It's been a long time since I've had the ability to talk to my people, and I do mean my ebony people. But, sometimes you just gotta disconnect sometimes, so that's exactly what I did from social media, since everything is just so impersonal, and I figure sometimes self-edification is the key to getting back to what it means to be personal and to have a relationship with self as well as those who are closest to you. So, as for the first topic I'm elated to have, it's going to be based off of relationships and their unsolicited truths. Those things that nobody wants to talk about, or those things that people no longer necessarily want to address because they feel like it's a taboo and people are going to criticize them for it. But with me being the woman that I am or have become over this past year, I can only be nothing but truth in the light that I desire to attract in my life. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get right into the topic. So once again, for those of you who are listening who don't know what the topic is, it's based off of the relationships and their unsolicited truth. I'm just going to start off by giving you a brief, introduction into my life a little bit. Most would probably, give an opinion of me as being a revolutionist, an individual who's an activist and who strongly believed in their people and the bright future that we have ahead of us. And I understand that it's going to take a lot of sacrifice. But outside of that persona that people have created or perceived on social media when it came to Facebook or Twitter, I wasn't on Instagram because it just seemed it just seemed shallow to me. But for the most part, outside of those social media avenues, I'd like to tell you that I'm definitely a feminine woman, an individual who have a lot of emotions, who tend to be sensitive. And those of you who know me personally, I'm very vulnerable to the aspect of love or giving oneself 110%, not 100%, because I believe that in order for you to grow, sometimes it takes you to sacrifice that little bit that you don't think you have left in you, and that's where you have, the basis of evolution happening. So with that being said, I was in a year-long relationship, and of course, with the year-long relationship, it starts off as being wonderful and beautiful. You're in love. You want to tell the world. You almost want to also keep it in secret, too, because you don't want anything to mess that scenario that you have up with that person, because it's such a new thing. It's like having a new baby, and you want to protect that baby. But with that being said, we got into the realness of the relationship, where all of the initial honeymoon phase tends to fade, and this is when reality kicks in and we start dealing with the real life issues. Some of the issues I realized that I, as a person, was unable to put up with as opposed to other women is that I'm not a woman that settles and believes that in order for you to live out your greatest purpose with the individual that you're with, you have to let them know your standards from the beginning. And the real truth is, most women don't want to admit this, but if a man sits up there and tells you that they love you and that they only have eyes for you and that they only want to be with you and they're going to try to be the best man for you, you believe them. A lot of women are afraid, and this is the unsolicited truth, to tell their man that they won't put up with the idea that, okay, I'm no longer going to fall for the excuse that it is human nature for a man to lust or to, use what they typically use when they're first upon meeting you, their visual senses. A woman's not going to say that they won't put up with that because they've been told by society that this is a nature of a man and that they're put here to reproduce. That's very true. But ladies and gentlemen, Women are here to reproduce too. We always forget the yin to the yang. We forget that it doesn't just take one of the individual. It takes both of us in order to create something beautiful and new, which is that newborn baby. So, me as being the strong woman that I am, that is very much set in the moral standards and codes that I believe in as opposed to the man code or the woman code, I let my man know, and I let very many individuals know that I'm not an advocate for self-hate. I'm an advocate for self-love. No rightfully thinking woman in their right mind that is completely sane and not relationship retarded is going to say that I'm okay with my man standing right in front of me, breaking their neck to look at another woman while they're standing right next to you, while they're following their eyes across the door, and while you're standing next to them. I'm okay with that. Hell to the no. I was okay with falling victim to the social norms of Western society, but no, that's not who I am, and genetically I'm not created that way. I wish I could say that, but then again, I wouldn't be being who I am. So here we are. We have those unsolicited truths. Does that necessarily mean that you're insecure? That's where the borderlines. I had to think on that. If I'm being insecure, like, that is a natural thing to do. But the thing is, if you're in a relationship and you find yourself visually and emotionally cheating on somebody, yes, we forget all of these things that are part of this, and you find that you're thinking about something, or even like when it comes to men thinking on the lines of cheating, then that's a problem, and we can no longer give it a pass. And women, is nothing wrong with demanding something greater, because you treat yourself in high esteem. You don't go and lust off another woman and want or fit someone else's what someone else's has. It teaches you all throughout the Bible. It teaches you that all throughout the Quran, not to covet what your neighbors have. So why would it be any different when it comes to a relationship, or when you're in a relationship with a man, or if you're in a relationship with a man? You're coveting something that you don't per se have, but it's because you have an insecurity about it, because that's something you want, because you don't find that within yourself. So that's exactly what you're telling me, that I'm not enough, that I can't find within you that is something that is fully satisfying me. So I go outside of what our relationship and make an excuse for what I'm doing. And we rely on, it's in a man's nature. So, is it insecurity? Of course not. Especially a woman who knows who she is and what she has to offer. And if it's not enough for you, why stick into it? Why take me through emotional torment? Think about this. Why? So those are the unsolicited truths. I'm not going to go too deep on my opinion or what I think about it, because for one, we're all entitled to our own opinions and perceptions. And two, we don't have all day, because I can go on and on about this situation. And three, sometimes something should not have to be explained. It's just the unspoken rule or thing. But the unsolicited truth about this, ladies and gentlemen, is that women have every right to leave. Women have every right to be treated the way that they want to be treated, as well as any other man. Any other self-respecting man wouldn't be like, okay, if you like it so much what you're seeing, to the point where you have to do it in front of me and disrespect me and act as though I'm not here, then maybe you should go and be with that man. Or maybe you should go and swim in the pond, take a swim in the pond, or fish in the pond, as they would say, instead of subjecting me to this emotional torment, subjecting me, or possibly having me subject myself to feeling as though I'm not good enough, or that there's things that I need to change, as opposed to you not identifying that there's something within you that you want or you have not dealt with, and here I am, and the one suffering, and you're the one living life as if nothing is happening. That's not what we're here for. Life, of course, is going to have its ups and downs. We're going to have our quarrels, but no one should ever be able to make you feel anything but great. They have no right to make you feel less than, and I stand by that wholeheartedly. So it's always a pleasure to go briefly discussing certain things that bother me, because I just have rants for the most part, whether they be influential, whether they be inspirational, or just me rambling for the most part. It's always great to be able to express yourself, even when there is no one that you can personally talk to, but to have an avenue that we have in 2016 to let the world know how we feel and not be afraid to do so. It's always a pleasure to, I guess, be able to vocalize myself. And with that being said, we're going to lead out of this situation, or leave this conversation or this little show segment. It's not very long, ladies and gentlemen, with the song. So it's always a pleasure, you guys, and I'm gone.
I got respect for you. Official. Sha. Come on. I know it's hard, girl, living in a world. What the people only see is what they think you are, girl. But you're smart, girl. You work hard, girl. You ain't out here with them other ones, just working it for nothing. You stand for something different. For that I got an interest. You had me wondering why you all alone in this cold world with nobody else. It's because you ain't putting out on the first night. You ain't fall in love cause the man talking so right. And there ain't nothing wrong with that. Baby, you got my respect. Now come here on my shoulder. I promise I'ma treat you right. Tonight I don't want your body. I wanna know what's on your mind. Just lay your head up on my shoulder. I promise I will treat you right. Tonight I don't want your body. I wanna know what's on your mind. I'm here to lift you up, 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 up. Them others wanna see you break it down on the ground. I want to get your chest. I'll be here when nobody else is around. Lay your head up on my shoulder. I promise I'ma treat you right.